Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading, part 3 of this quick tips and saving money video. So I'll try my best to make this short and simple. And before I start, I know some of you are itching for me to get this PSA PA10 gun review going, and trust me, so am I. But the weather outside isn't quite cooperating with these negative temperatures. But tomorrow, it sounds like it might be in the 30s, and there's a good chance I might be able to hit the range tomorrow. So if you watch my videos before, you most likely know I like to keep my information about the reloads on an index card. Quantity, what rifle it's being used for, what type of brass, amount of powder or what kind of powder, other information like ogive, seating depth, coal, primers, you name it, blah blah blah. But what you probably haven't seen behind the curtains is what I do on the back of the card. Now, being that bullets come in boxes of 100, 500, and 1000, I'll typically reload in increments of 50. For large cartridges such as 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, I'll usually reload in increments of 50. And smaller cartridges such as 223, I'll usually reload in increments of 100. So with that said, let me get this out of the way. Now, time and time again, I see this all the time online. A new reloader just buys a humongous batch of, say, 500 pieces of 7.62 Lake City brass, or 1,000 pieces of 5.56 Lake City brass. And they make the mistake of sizing the entire bag of 1,000 pieces. And take it from advice, it's probably one of the worst things you can do. And the main reason why I say this, why you want to keep this in its raw form as you purchase it online, is headspace. So if your ultimate goal is precision ammunition, and you're specifically bumping your headspace back 0.003 from fire form, you never know. You might end up selling that rifle and getting a completely different rifle, which headspace might be slightly different. Now, getting back on track to the information I keep on the back of my information cards. When I'm doing brass prep, at least for me, I find it almost impossible to do brass prep all in one shot, especially with time restraints, having a job. Things come up and you just gotta walk away and come back later. Especially other things, when I got super sidetracked and I was battling cancer, I had batches of brass that I had to come back to almost a half a year later. And there is no way to know exactly where I was in the brass prep process. And that's why I keep these cards, to let me know exactly where I'm at. I don't have to guess, I just know. So at least for me, for large cartridges such as 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 243, I usually reload in increments of 50. And because of that, I buy a 100 piece box of bullets, and I don't use all 100 pieces. I like to buy these little plastic containers I get from Menards. They're very cheap, and sometimes Menards will run mail-in rebate to where they're free. And that's usually when I'll scoop up a bunch of these for saving bullets. So typically what I'll do is I'll rip the label off so I know exactly what the bullet is. I'll mark off how many pieces I used out of the 100, put it back in the container. And what's nice about these is they lock together. Now, I'm sure some of you are already familiar with a McDonald's straw mod that you can do on the Charge Masters. Now, I like having the option of having the McDonald's straw mod in order to keep the mouth opening as large as possible if I want to drop powder ultra fast. But more times than not, I'm doing precision ammunition and I like to have it more precise. And that's why I use these pen mod inserts that slide right into the McDonald's straw mod. Also, what's really nice about these is not only for precision ammunition, but it's pretty rare to ever, and I mean ever, to have overthrows. So what I like to do is insert the McDonald's straw mod into the Charge Master. Use a little bit of blue painter's tape and just slightly touch the straw with the blue painter's tape so it doesn't slide in and out. And then get a Bic pen tip and wrap a little bit more blue painter's tape, just the right amount, so it fits snug inside the McDonald's straw mod, but not too tight, so you can slide it in and out. Especially when you're at the end of the reloading session, you just pull out the pen insert, that way you can empty the hopper when you're done with your reloading session. Also, something I like to do is take a drill bit and put a small inside chamfer on the mouth opening of the pen insert, so it's easy for the powder grains to come out the pen insert itself. So if you press enter and edit mem on the Charge Master, you can change the settings. Now, I'm also not going to rehash how to change the settings on your Charge Master if you haven't done this before. Once again, there's 1,000 YouTube videos on how to do this. But for my settings with the pen insert on the McDonald's straw mod, these are the settings that I'm using. Now, I personally like to use 2 Charge Masters. It obviously speeds up the reloading process, but to make sure that you're dropping powder from the corresponding Charge Master into your brass, I like to label my Charge Masters. And the reason why I picked Mr. White and Mr. Blue here for my Charge Master names is because of the pen insert colors. This one's white, this one's blue, hence the name. Now, if you watched my videos before, you probably already know where I'm going with this. I like to label my pans with blue and white, make sure that they're matching up with the corresponding Charge Masters. But also, I like to put the weight of the pan on the pan itself. And the reason why I like to do this, and it's not just so much Charge Masters, it's really for any scale to that matter. If you're doing a long reloading session, you can get what's called drifting, and it can really screw up precision ammunition. So to make sure that your scale isn't drifting, if you put the actual weight of the pan on the pan itself, we zero these out. And for example, say like I'm dropping powder out of Mr. White and I take this off, 148 matches the pan, and say after 100 drops later, I take this off and it starts saying, you know, 147, 146, you know, 145. That's a good indication that your scale is drifting. So if that happens, it's a good point to stop what you're doing and recalibrate your scale. Next is dryer sheets. Can't stress this enough. Super important when using a Charge Master. And one of the evils of a Charge Master, any scale that matter, is static. So what I like to do before a reloading session is wipe down the inside of the Charge Masters. I'll wipe down the pan. I'll even take this part out and wipe that down. And we'll put it underneath the Charge Master to help eliminate static. Eliminating static will help eliminate drifting. Now, if you watched my videos before, you're probably familiar with my Thumbler's Tumblers stainless steel cleaner for cleaning rifle brass, and the plexiglass partition mod that you can make in order to clean 2 different types of brass at the same time, saving you a bunch of time in the reloading process. And if you haven't seen that video before on how to make this partition mod, I have a video showing you how to make it. So if you're cleaning 2 different types of brass at the same time, it's hard to beat the tumbler cleaner. With this partition mod, you can put that in. You can clean a batch of 50 pieces of 6.5 and 50 pieces of 308, or say 50 pieces of 6.5 Creedmoor with 2 fires on the brass, and 50 pieces of 6.5 Creedmoor with 4 fires on the brass, with 1 piece of 45 ACP in that 4 fire brass side of the partition, which I go in full detail on that video explaining this partition mod. So if you're not familiar with it, go check out that video. Now that said, I got about $150 worth of Shields gift cards, and I've always wanted to get a Frankfurt Arsenal stainless steel cleaner, and this has kind of been long overdue, but Cabela's was running a $116 I think deal on this, and I had Shields match that price for me. So when it comes to single batches or very extreme large batches, say 1,000 pieces of 223, you simply cannot beat the Frankfurt Arsenal tumbler. In my opinion, it's way better than the Tumbler's cleaner, but I'm still going to keep this for cleaning 2 different types of brass at the same time with my mod, which you simply can't do with the Frankfurt Arsenal. Well, that wraps up part 3, quick tips and saving money. And like I said before, don't worry, the PSA video is coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next time.